All right, guys, welcome back to another nutrition talk. So today in our nutrition talk, we're gonna be talking about the easiest way to lose body fat or gain muscle if you're already lifting weights. So say you're lifting weights and you're not really dieting or watching your nutrition very much, and you get some really good gains at first, and then you start to plateau. This is gonna be the easiest way to kind of get over that plateau and start learning about how you can change your body composition and gain some more muscle or lose some body fat so you can break through that and have that better physique with still a little bit more of that minimal effort without learning about micronutrients or tracking exact macronutrients all the time, because a lot of that stuff is just taxing. And for the normal guy that just wants to go in and be a little bit healthier and have a little better body, that's not really practical for you. So this is an easy way to start to do that and transfer a little bit in to getting a better looking body. This is for body composition training, okay? So what we're gonna start with, if you're lifting weights and you wanna lose some body fat, a lot of people's calories are like sky high. Even when you look at a lot of people that are doing macros, their caloric intake is going to be a lot different than yours, dependent on their the metabolic conditioning they do, the volume. They might do more volume in the gym than you. There's a lot of factors that go into why they might be eating more than you. And so this isn't going to be getting into huge detail on nutrition. I just want to simply explain it so then you can get right to it and it's not so difficult so you fall off a month later. So macros, we're just gonna start off with macros so I can just tell you what they are, and that'll set up our whole conversation. So macros are up here you have your protein, your carbs, and your fats. Now for 1 gram of each macronutrient, there's a different calorie makeup. So for 1 gram of protein, there's gonna be 4 calories per that 1 gram of protein. Per 1 carb, there's gonna be 4 calories per that 1 gram of carb. So say you have 2 grams of carbs in something, that's gonna be 8 calories. All right, and then for 1 gram of fat, there's gonna be 9 calories. So these are your makeup that is going to transition into what you're eating. So the 2 things that you're gonna track to make this really simple for yourself are your proteins to make sure you can hold that muscle or build that muscle, and your calories. Because a lot of diets that you'll see, it's either really low fat and higher carbs, and then your protein is still usually right around 1 gram per pound of body weight. It could be like 0.8 to 1 point something. Anyways, just go like right around 1 gram per pound of body weight, which for most people is gonna be in between 150 and 200. So say you're like 250 or let's just go with 220. If you're 220 and you're like 5'6", you're probably not a lean 220, and so I'd kind of back that down just a little bit. Most guys that are like 5'10" and under usually aren't going to be really lean over 200 pounds. So you want to do 1 gram of protein per pound of lean body mass, so what you would weigh lean. So that's going to be right in between 150 and 200. For females, that's probably going to be in between like 115 and 130, right in there. So I'm just doing one scenario here. So if you're a female, that's just most of the time what your lean body mass is going to be. So we're not necessarily worried about the carbs or the fats here, because like I said, most diets you're looking at are the protein's about the same, and it's always controversial. Oh, should we have really low fats and some good amount of carbs, or should we have a good amount of fats and really cut the carbs down? So both of these are right. It's just which one is going to work for you. So to start this off, you're just worried about your protein to hold the muscle on while you're working out. You might gain a little bit of muscle if your calories are high enough or if your caloric intake is high enough. And you could lose muscle if your caloric intake is if your protein intake is too low. So you want to keep an eye and be consistent on your protein intake. You can do too little protein, you can do too much protein, because if you're doing too much, it's a waste of calories where you could have some really tasty food other than that. So that's all for your protein. And when you get into the calorie part of it, when it comes to gaining body fat or gaining muscle, you can't have a diet that's high carbs and high fats and still lose body fat, you know. On some diets you can, but that's not what we're talking about here. Like if you go on, say, a vegan diet or something like that, where it's not macronutrients based, it's micronutrients based, then then you get into the ideals of gaining some muscle and on pretty low protein. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the easiest way to do this, and this is the easiest way to do this, is following your protein, following your calories. So for your calorie intake, it's going to be, if you have, say you have 150 grams of protein, right? You multiply that, that's going to be 600 calories right here, right? And then if you have 200 grams of protein times that's going to be 800 calories, right? So anywhere in between there, say you got like 180 because you feel like you're 180 lean, you're going to take 180 times 4, that's going to give you your calories. Now the calories you want to stay in between if you're trying to lose that body fat is going to be between 1,500 and about 1,900, 1,500 and 2,000. You want to be pretty consistent with what number you pick. So say you pick 1,900, you want to be within like 5% of that 1,900 calories, because you still want enough energy to go to the gym and perform. And if you don't have that energy to perform and it's not consistent, then you're going to start not performing to lose the body fat. So if you pick a calorie number, stick at that calories. If it's not working, maybe drop it or raise it a little bit, because you might have dropped your calories too much to where you don't have the energy to output enough work put into your workouts to be able to burn the body fat off. You might not have that energy. And so you want to make sure your calories are consistent. So you're going to take whatever number you pick your protein, multiply it by 4. These are the calories you want to be in. So we'll just go with 2,000 calories because it's easier math here. So if you go with 150 grams of protein, multiply that by 4, that's 600. So if you need 2,000 calories in all, that means you have 1,400 calories to make up in carbs and fats, right? Now if you want to do 200 grams of protein right here, that's going to be 800 calories. And so the calories that you have to make up to get to 2,000 calories, you get to make up in carbs and fats, or carbs or fats, those two are going to translate into 1,200 calories if you're going for that 2,000 calories. So instead of having 3 numbers to watch, and you have to watch always what you eat and all this other, things that go along with nutrition, you can get like an app like MyFitnessPal, and you can scan your food in using the barcode. It has restaurants. Like if you type in Applebee's in the search box, it brings up their whole menu on there. And so you can go into that app, enter your food in there, like on the free version, make sure you're getting your intake of protein each day, and make sure you're hitting your calories each day. And it's the easiest way to kind of get there, because there's not any micronutrients that go into it. If you're most people find out they eat about the same 20 foods every day. So if you're naturally eating more carbs than you are fats, then your carbs are going to be, 200 or something like that, and then that's going to have to push your fats down. You're going to not be able to eat as many fatty foods. If you're eating really fatty foods, that's going to push your carbs down really low, and so you won't get as many carbs. So what I'm saying is that consistently over time, the people that are like, oh, you need protein and then high fats and low carbs, or you need protein, high carbs, and low fats, both of those can be right. You can lose weight on both of those. Both of those you're eventually going into either some kind of beta oxidation to lose fat, or you're breaking into that ketosis to lose fat, but you're doing it through keeping muscle on your body. Now, if you're not working out and you're not concerned about keeping muscle on your body, you just have to really keep you have to be in a caloric deficit. So say you're putting this much energy in each day to your body, so you're putting this many calories into your body, you're expending X amount of calories, you need to put in less calories than you expend. So if you're not lifting weights, that would be more of the way you would lose body fat. So this is the simplest way to do it. You're putting yourself in a caloric deficit, you have enough protein to hold muscle on your body, simple, you can get an app to put it in. And for a recommendation, if you want to start, like say you start doing this and you want to take it a little bit further, and you get used to using MyFitnessPal and you want to just take that next step even further than that before you dive into like all the vitamins and supplements and micronutrients and all that stuff, I would recommend, if most people are going to get higher carbs than they do fats. So I would recommend staying like anywhere from 50 to 70 grams of fat per day, and then your carbs are going to be right in between 150 grams of carbs and 180 grams of carbs each day. And so that's going to dictate where your calories come out. And so that's just taking that from doing just proteins and calories into complete macros and calories, which I've dove in on that just a little bit, but I really wanted to show you guys the easiest way if you're lifting weights to lose body fat. Now, if you want to gain muscle and stay at a lower body composition, right? You want to stay like that between 10 and 15% body fat, but you want to start gaining muscle because you're as lean as you want to be, using somewhat of this program, if it's just this, or macros, and you don't want to still follow your macros because you're improving, you want to eat a little bit more junk food, then you just follow your protein like you normally would do. If you're bulking, you don't need 300, 400 grams of protein, especially if you're natural. Now, if there's people that are gearing up and they're using testosterone or something like that, your body can absorb more protein, it can synthesize more protein into amino acids, peptides, and go into cells and stuff. But for the natural athletes out there, you don't need 300 grams of protein. It's not going to do you any good. You can stick around for about a gram per pound of body weight, raise your caloric intake into a surplus, and eat just a little bit more food. You don't want to go crazy. So like say your maintenance level caloric intake is 2,000 calories, which most people, their caloric intake for maintenance level is between 1,800 calories and 2,500 calories. It's not that high. You want to go just like maybe 200 to 400 or 500 calories over your maintenance level calories, and you'll start gaining a little bit of weight. You'll start gaining a little bit of muscle, right? So in me explaining that when you're coming down in body fat, you're at a certain caloric intake and a certain protein level, right? You want to take that caloric intake and you just want to up it, maybe 100 or 200 calories. And then you stay there for a little while, see what your body does, up it just 100 or 200 calories, see what your body does. And over time, just kind of up it and up it and up it. And what happens is your power output gets greater. You start lifting more weight, you start being able to do more reps, you start being able to run your mile times faster. So your power output gets a lot better, right? As your power input, the calories you're eating, gets more and more. So both grow at the same time. And as your performance come up, you'll start lifting more weight and all that, you bring your calories up. You start lifting more weight, you bring your calories up. And that's how you gain, that's how you make gains. What I see a lot of, though, when people try and make gains or lose weight, is they're just so drastic because they want that immediate result. When somebody goes to gain muscle, the people with really good genetics will still not, I'm not talking about gear here, not talking about pro hormones or testosterone or anything like that, naturally will usually gain about 10 pounds of muscle a year. And so I don't see why a lot of people are like, oh, I'm in off season, a month or 6 weeks later, you see them, they're like 30, 40 pounds heavier than they were when they were leaning out. So if you keep it a slow process and you make nice lean gains and you gain that 30 pounds over a year rather than just gaining that 30 pounds over 3 months, then your body is going to most likely make better gains. But then when you cut down, you don't have 60, 70 pounds to lose cutting down. You know, when I took my off season or whatever, I planned to take 2 years off. And so I planned to gain about 30 pounds over a year. And so when I did that, I gained 60 pounds. About 20 of that I feel was muscle. And then I take, quite a while, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months to cut that back down. And so I'm not dropping my calories really low, losing strength, losing muscle. You want to keep those gains you made. And so slowly gaining, slowly losing, look at the long-term plan of a good physique. You don't want to cut your calories too low thinking you're going to drop weight, is thinking just weight is body fat, and lose some of the gains you made. You want to keep those gains. So easiest way to do it is doing this right here. Protein and caloric intake. Just try it out. If you're at that plateau, you want a better physique, and then if you want to start transitioning into macros or whatever, you can start transitioning into that, or a keto diet. I could literally take my whole whiteboard here and fill it. This is just one little corner, but I could take my whole whiteboard here and fill it up with different diets that work. I mean, carb backloading works, paleo works, refeeding diets work, ketogenic diets work, clean eating works, vegan diets work, vegetarian. I mean, I could name off diet after diet after diet, basic bodybuilding or diets work, bro food diets, whatever you want to call them. The diets work, the nutrition works if you track it. So there's not like, this is what works for everybody in the world. You want to look at what their lifestyle is and transition into what fits your lifestyle. If you eat a lot of vegetables, if you like vegetables, if you don't like meat, maybe a vegan or vegetarian nutrition plan will work for you. A micronutrient nutrition plan will work for you. If you don't like tracking at all and you don't like really lifting weights, but you get into the gym and you're moving or you're going for walks and stuff, maybe just a baseline calorie diet works for you. If you don't like eating carbs and you like really fatty foods all the time, maybe a keto diet will work for you. If you like planning out your day, just like, this is what I'm going to do hour 1, hour 2, hour 3, maybe a bro food diet or like a traditional bodybuilding diet will work for you, or like a strict meal plan. There's different things that work for everybody. Not everybody is necessarily looking to have the perfect physique to stand up on a stage and get judged by people. A lot of people are just looking at losing weight, having a little bit better body, and this is what this does for you. That's what I'm trying to teach people how to be fit, and look better and be able to exercise and whatnot, and yet still have a normal life, and be able to go out to restaurants and stuff, but without overdoing it, and still keeping a good body composition, still staying healthy, still staying active. So, easiest way to do it right here. Try it out. If you have any questions, just contact me and let me know what you think about this right here. Is it easy? Is it not easy? Or do you want me to break it down more? What do you feel like you need to do? So let me know if you want me to do one on females. This is more set up for males or guys. If you want me to do one on females, because females' hormone levels are just a little bit different too, so their intakes are going to be a little bit different. Let me know what you want. If you want to comment, any questions, answer you right away, and I'll see you later in the next nutrition video. Peace.